What happens when someone feels, well, utterly alienated from humanity itself? What masks do we wear and, what's the cost of keeping them on? These are questions that really stick with you. And today we're diving deep into Osamu Dazai's harrowing and, frankly, profound autobiographical novel, Rücken, known in English, of course, as No Longer Human. This book, from what I've seen, is just an incredibly stark, almost raw look at a life, isn't
Oh,
it?
absolutely. It really is. Dazai, a Japanese author, 1909 to 1948, he was known for these I novels, which is a
Mm.
distinct genre in Japanese literature, very personal, often confessional.
Right.
And tragically, he died by suicide shortly after finishing this very work. The book itself, it's structured as these journals from the protagonist, Yoso, and then you have observations from a secondary narrator kind of woven in. It gives you this raw, unfiltered look into Yoso's inner world.
Yeah.
It's really a key text for understanding him.
So our mission today, it's not just about tracing Yozo's steps, right? It's about really unpacking what it means to live in a world where true connection just feels impossible. And the masks we wear, they kind of become our whole identity. We'll explore his struggles with human connections, societal norms, that agonizing quest for an authentic self, all through the lens of this deeply personal source material you've brought. So get ready for, I think, some surprising facts and profound insights into a really unique perspective on just being human. We begin with a truly unsettling introduction to Yoso. It's through three photographs. The first one, it shows him as a young boy, maybe around 10. He's surrounded by girls, probably his sisters and cousins.
Yeah, Berbye Gordon Pond.
And he's got this ugly and irritating monkey smile, as it's described.
It's immediately striking, isn't it? And quite disturbing, honestly, how these early descriptions just instantly foreshadow this huge disconnect. The narrator says it's not a smile at all and points out his hands.
Oh yeah, clenching the fist.
Exactly. Clench into tight fists, which totally contradicts any idea of, real fun or joy. Anyone with an aesthetic sense, as the book puts it, would immediately find him, well, repulsive.
Repulsive, wow.
Yeah, just his face covered in ugly wrinkles, giving off this irritating expression. It's like a performance right from the start.
It's unsettling thinking of a child described that way.
Mm.
It immediately makes you wonder, okay, if his outer expression was so repellent, what was actually going on inside?
Precisely. And the photos just keep deepening that sense of enigma, that mystery. The second one, it shows Yozo as a student, and again, there's a strange smile. This one's described as devoid of essence, like human-made.
Oh, like artificial.
Yes, and oddly disquieting, like a ghost story.
And the third photo is even more disturbing. An older Yozo, just expressionless, like a dead person, it says, or a pack horse's head, whose face is forgettable yet somehow deeply irritating at the same time.
These first impressions, they really establish Yozo as someone fundamentally separate, from typical human experience. The narrator even says a common dead person's face would have more expression than Yozo's in that last photo.
Oof.
It's a really powerful way to convey his alienation before we even hear his own voice.
But beyond just these outside observations, Yozo himself gives us these chilling insights. In his first journal, he just opens with, "My life is filled with shame." Full stop.
Right.
And he confesses basically, I have no idea what human life is. He talks about how even basic things seemed alien, like train station bridges. He thought they were
Well,
for
yeah.
amusement parks.
Yeah, or subway trains, he thought they were for underground fun. It's bizarre.
It really is.
And this profound disconnect, it extends to his most basic physical experiences too, like sheets and pillows. He thought they were just useless ornaments. Or how he never truly felt hunger. He only ate because other people said he had to. It really makes you pause, doesn't it? I mean, what does it mean to be so fundamentally out of sync with these basic, almost primal human things?
It suggests that our most fundamental ideas about human interaction, maybe they don't hold true for everyone. It shows the quiet struggles many people face just trying to navigate a world that feels totally alien. And for Yozo, this alienation was amplified at mealtimes. His family was large, traditional, 10 people.
Mm-hmm.
He saw it not as a shared activity, but as this silent, terrifying ritual, like a prayer to house spirits or something.
That's right. And this deep sense of otherness, this fear of real human connection, it led to his main coping mechanism, clowning.
Oh, yes, the clowning.
Yozo describes it as his last search for love, but at the same time, he's utterly terrified of people.
Mm.
So he cultivates this outward sort of jolly smile, this charming front, while his inner world was dead.
So he became an expert at it, basically unable to speak a single true word from his real self. He tells these stories from his childhood, like wearing a red wool sweater under his summer kimono just to get a laugh,
Right.
or doing this. The source calls it an Indian dance, a kazildirli dansin, to random piano music for the servants. Apparently, it even resulted in a photo revealing his small penis, which caused huge laughter.
And his clowning wasn't just at home, it carried over into school. He deliberately drew cartoons, wrote funny essays, even when teachers warned him not to, because he knew deep down they secretly enjoyed it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's the specific example where he writes about peeing in a trash can on a train, blaming it on being a kid, of course, and the teacher just laughed hysterically. Yoso says this persona let him seem like a fur llama. That's the Turkish term our source uses for like a rascal or delinquent. And that way he avoided the respect he was so afraid of. He actually believed respect meant being dealt with and shamed to death.
Shamed to death, that's chilling. To associate respect with death.
It is. It shows how twisted his perception of human interaction had become.
It's fascinating how he calls clowning his last search for love. But if his inner world was dead, like he says, was it really love he was after, or just survival, deflecting true connection?
That's a great question.
We also see this complexity with his father, about gifts. He couldn't say what he wanted, but then he secretly changed his father's notebook to ask for a lion mask, which amused his dad and gave Yozo this sense of success.
And that seemingly small act, it highlights his deep inability to choose or refuse anything. He saw that as a defining part of his shameful life. What's really striking is the huge gap between his internal turmoil and how people saw his actions. He's performing even for himself, almost. Every interaction is calculated to avoid being truly seen.
But for all his elaborate clowning, there was a moment, right? A crack in that facade.
Yeah.
At his new school by the sea.
Yes.
His act was working well, even with the strict military officer teacher. But then, this quiet, frail student, Takaisi, he saw right through him. Whispered, "You're doing it on purpose."
Yozo's reaction to just that one phrase, it's visceral. He felt his world just burst into hellfire. Then days of intense anxiety, cold sweats, terrified of being exposed. He even thought about Takeshi dying, not murdering him, but just wishing him gone.
Wow.
It's a terrifying moment, isn't it? What happens when the one thing you rely on to survive, your mask, is suddenly seen through?
Your whole strategy collapses.
Exactly. Your entire survival strategy is compromised.
That's a powerful point. It's the moment his carefully built world really starts to unravel. And after that Takeshi incident, his relationships with women, they get even more complicated. He found them more incomprehensible than men, felt like he was walking on thin ice even though he grew up surrounded by women. But paradoxically, women were often drawn to his loneliness. They sensed it somehow, made him a man who could keep the secrets of love.
It's an interesting dynamic, that twist. Takeshi had made this casual prediction, girls will like you, of course, which Yozo later saw as this horrible, devilish kehmet. That's the Turkish word for prophecy in our source.
A devilish prophecy.
Yeah. Yozo notices women enjoyed his clowning endlessly more than men did, but he was deeply uncomfortable being liked or loved. He preferred the term interested in.
Like genuine affection was just too threatening.
Almost exactly that, yeah.
So he keeps performing, even in relationships. And then Takeshi gives Yozo this important gift, a ghost picture.
Right, the Van Gogh self-portrait.
Which Yozo immediately recognizes. And this leads him to discover Modigliani's work, seeing those as ghost pictures of hell horses.
And these artists, the ones who express ugliness and nonsense without caring what people thought, they became Yozo's future idols. This wasn't just about art for him, it was deeply personal.
Yeah.
It inspired him to create his own horrible self-portraits.
The ones he hid.
Exactly. Kept hidden from everyone except Takeshi, because they showed his true, dark inner self, the reality beneath the clown's smile. It was a huge shift in his art, a way to channel that internal pain without the mask.
His life then shifts to Tokyo. His father forces him into higher education, not art school like he wanted. And he hates the youthful enthusiasm and what he calls the perverse sexual desires in the dorms. His clowning doesn't really work there anymore.
Yeah, the context changed.
So he takes refuge in art workshops, reading.
And it's here he meets Horiki Mizuo, an older art student who pulls Yozo into this whole metropolitan rascal lifestyle.
Horiki.
Yeah, alcohol, cigarettes, prostitutes, pawnbrokers, even leftist thought. What's really striking is how Yozo found liberation in these vices, this sort of illegal atmosphere of the communist meetings. That became a new way to forget his fear of humans. He just gravitated towards anything offering escape.
Horiki sounds like his guide to this underworld almost. His master of entertainment, handling money, logistics in Tokyo.
Pretty much.
Yozo initially dismisses Horiki as empty or stupid, but later he kind of recognizes a kinship, a same kind of contrary and searching nature, even if Horiki was clueless about his own tragic clowning.
It's just a warped mirror image, doesn't it?
A very dark mirror, yeah. Yozo gets deeper into the Marxist student movement, but it's more about this curiosity for illegality than real political belief.
Right, it wasn't conviction.
The work ramps up, gets overwhelming, and he just flees. Immediately feels like he should die.
And during this really low period, 3 women show him some sympathy. There's the boarding house owner's daughter who brings him sedatives, the female comrade who he kisses just to get away from her questions, and then Tsuneko.
Tsuneko, the waitress.
Yes, the Ginza waitress. Her single word, "don't worry," spoken in her Kansai accent. It had this warmth, this lack of judgment that just uniquely calmed his anxious heart. It allowed him to be his true, silent, dark self for a moment without the clowning.
That sounds like a rare moment of genuine connection for him.
It really was. But the story moves quickly. It's that tragic love-suicide attempt in Kamakura.
Right. Tsuneko dies, Yozo survives.
Mm-hmm. And the public scandal is huge because his father is prominent. His family is furious. But the story emphasizes Yoso's tears. They're for Tsuneko, this wretched-looking woman he felt he had actually loved.
So this marks his first real display of grief, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Compared to all the performing before.
Absolutely, a sharp contrast. Then in the hospital, they find his lung condition, which he cynically uses as an excuse to avoid the police.
And the police interrogation.
Mm-hmm.
The old policeman's comment about humanity, the commissioner mocking his looks. It's just piling on.
It's a cascade of painful interactions, and then the ultimate humiliation, the prosecutor.
Yeah, yes.
Yozo tries his old trick coughing, showing a bloody handkerchief, but the blood was actually from an abscess under his ear.
Oh, no.
And the prosecutor just smiles calmly and asks, "Are you serious?"
Wow, that must have just crushed him. What happens when that last defense mechanism, his whole performance, just utterly fails like that?
Yeah, it's devastating. It's one of Yozo's 2 big failures in acting, the other being Takai's seeing through him earlier. He says he would have preferred a decade in prison to that profound humiliation. It just shows how deeply his whole identity was tied up in deceiving people, controlling how they saw him.
That moment is crucial then.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's where his carefully built world truly collapses around him.
So after the suicide attempt, he's put under the care of Flounder, that's Dilbaloo in the source, his father's antiquarian assistant. Strict, condescending guy, confined to a small room, tiny allowance. Yozo loses even the will to clown or to die. It's like total imprisonment, physically and psychologically.
And there's this tragic irony in Flounder's repulsive, overly cautious insinuations about Yozo's future.
Yeah.
Yozo figures out later Flounder just wanted him to enroll in school so Flounder could get more money from the family.
Oh, typical.
It just highlights Yozo's constant struggle to understand the indirect, often self-serving ways of what he calls society.
He eventually flees Flounder's house, right? Leaves a fake note about seeing Horiki, sells his books, finds himself adrift.
Yeah, and consumed by this new terror of other people's homes. He sees them as gates of hell with terrible monsters inside. He feels completely alone, can't make real friends, can't even visit anyone.
This downward spiral leads him back to Horiki.
It does. But Horiki now shows this metropolitan face of anger and egoism, makes Yozo feel like a burden. And Horiki's casual comment, "You haven't been handcuffed like me," it just confirms Yozo's worst fear.
Which is?
That Horiki doesn't see him as human anymore. Just a living corpse, an object of amusement. It's such a cruel rejection from someone he once saw as maybe not a friend, but a peer.
So Yozo then takes refuge with Shizuko, a reporter, becomes a kept man, basically. Draws cartoons for kids' magazines to get money for alcohol and cigarettes.
There's a kind of bittersweet feel to this domestic setup, especially with Shizuko's little daughter, who starts calling him father. But even that has this chilling moment. Shigeko asks for her real father, and Yozo suddenly feels like an enemy, a strange alien, even to her.
So can you ever really escape that internal torment, even with these fleeting moments of connection?
It seems for Yozo the answer is just no. The alienation is always there, always deeper.
It's like that internal disconnect is just stronger than any external bond he manages to form. And then comes the final, just devastating blow. A merchant rapes Yoshiko, Yozo's wife, and Horiki witnesses it.
And immediately runs back to tell Yozo almost gleefully. It's horrific.
And Yozo's reaction is key here, you said.
Yes, not anger, not sadness, but immense fear. His hair turns white overnight. He loses all trust completely. He's convinced he has this wound on his forehead now that will just ache whenever he gets close to people. He tragically asks, "Is trust a crime?"
Wow.
Because Yoshiko's innocence, her trusting nature, that pillar of trust, was the very thing that made her vulnerable. It's a terrible commentary on innocence in a cynical world.
With that last pillar of trust just shattered, Yozo spirals deeper. Into addiction, now using morphine, drawing pornography to pay for it.
Yeah, he develops this devilish relationship with the pharmacist. He wants to die constantly, sees his life as a crime, but he just can't seem to end it.
His dependence increases, leading to another suicide attempt. Sleeping pills this time.
Dial, yeah. He wakes up in a hospital. And those earlier sort of idiotic ravings about wanting to go to a place without women,
Oh.
they ironically come true. He's committed to a mental asylum.
The final irony, he's not a criminal anymore. He's crazy.
Exactly. Despite his internal denials, vehemently denying it, he gets labeled. He cries out, "Is not resisting a crime," and concludes, "I lost my humanity. I was no longer human."
That line, it just hits you, doesn't it? That ultimate surrender.
It really does. 3 months later, his brother and Flounder show up. They take him home, tell him his father died. She doesn't need to do anything anymore. He notes he's lost even his resistance, his ability to suffer.
Numb.
Completely numb. He ends up in this remote, run-down house with an old, strange female servant named Tetsu, experiences these petty harassments, like being given a laxative instead of a sedative. His existence is just stripped bare.
And his final reflection, it brings this chilling sense of just resignation. Now I am neither happy nor unhappy. Everything simply passes. He says this is the only true thing in the human world he lived through, which was all pantomime. What a grim conclusion.
It is. Yozo's journey, it culminates in that chilling declaration, "I lost my humanity. I was no longer human." It's a journey filled with such profound alienation, these desperate attempts to connect, and just the tragic consequences of a life lived behind a mask.
And the secondary narrator's final thoughts, they offer such a stark perspective at the end.
Mhm.
The bar madam who knew Yozo,
Yeah.
she just casually dismisses his extreme suffering, says something like, it just doesn't happen when a person gets like that.
Which is a profoundly disturbing insight, right, into society's inability or maybe unwillingness to really get its head around deep despair.
But then, the madam also offers this completely different view.
Right. The contrast.
The Yozo we knew was so innocent, thoughtful, if he didn't drink. No, even if he did, he was like an angel.
It creates this powerful dissonance, doesn't it? Which Yozo was real. Or were they both?
Absolutely. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, no longer human leaves us with this crucial, lingering question. Is Yozo's story just a tragic testament to profound mental illness? Or is it also a stark critique of a society so obsessed with appearances, with normalcy, that it drives vulnerable people to despair, to the point where they declare themselves no longer human?
And it makes you wonder, doesn't it? How often do we, maybe like the characters in Yozo's life, fail to truly see beyond the masks people wear, even people we claim to love or understand? This deep dive really invites you to consider the fragility of human connection and the complex, often hidden realities of the people all around you. It reminds us that sometimes the greatest suffering happens quietly, just beneath the surface.